Now let's do some practice on a grand staff. The only difference with this is that you're going to have to look across the staves and make sure that you're looking at which note is the lowest combined from here. Generally speaking, your lowest is going to be in the lowest clef, in this case, the bass clef. This piece is in D major. So for my first chord, I've got a D, an A, an F sharp, and an A. What is the root of that chord? The root of the chord is D. And in the key of D, D is the 1, a major 1. Remember that your pattern is major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. For our second one, we've got B, G, D, and B again. Arrange those to form a triad, and you find out that the root of that chord is G. So what is G in the key of D? D, E, F, G. G is 4, and 4 is major. Now our G isn't in the bass here, so that means the chord's inverted. Our B is in the bass. That's the middle note of the chord, so I'll write a 6, 4, 6. Up next, I have D, F sharp, and B. What's the root of this chord? Is it D, F sharp, B? No. Is it F sharp, B, D? No. It's B, D, F sharp. So B in the key of D is 6, and 6 is minor. Now, B is not in the root of this chord. This is also inverted, so that is a 6 as well. Up next, we have A, F sharp, and D. Arrange those to where they make a root position chord, and we get D as the root. So D is 1. But this is an A in the bass, which means that it's a 1, 6, 4. Up next, we have A again. Oh, is it the same chord? No, because now we have E and C sharp. Well, A, E, C sharp, A, C sharp, E, that's the root of the chord, and that chord is the 5. Root position, so it doesn't need anything else. And then finally, we have D, A, F sharp, and D. What is this? Well, this is a 1. Root position and everything. Sometimes, at the end of a piece, you might see composers leaving one of the notes out. So for instance, a composer might have chosen to revoice this last chord like this. To where we have D, 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 and an F sharp. Well, you're saying that's not a complete chord. What's wrong? It is an incomplete chord, but it does imply a chord. Even though it's only 2 different pitches, the implied chord here is a 1. So if you ever find a chord in context of a chord progression with a key signature that you're analyzing with Roman numerals, and it's missing one of the pitches, see which 2 pitches might be there. Hint, the root is always going to be one of those pitches. But occasionally, composers in classical music will leave out the 5th of a chord. In rock music, we'll often leave out the 3rd of a chord. So look to see which part of the chord is there. Generally speaking, for us in classical harmony, we're going to see the root of the 3rd is there, the root is there, and the 3rd is there, but the 5th is not. So like what I've done here. You'd still analyze it like a regular chord. It's sometimes called implied harmony or an implied chord. But I just analyze it saying, oh, there's my root, there's my 3rd. Now, if the 5th were there, what would the note be in the key signature? And then how would I analyze the chord? Simple as that. In this case, it's a 1. Composers, like I mentioned, will often do this at the end of a phrase because that way they can double up the root of the chord one more time. So it's a tripled root at the end and really reinforce, in this case, the tonic of the key.